I'm coming in hot.
So, welcome back to Spotlight with Britt. And I have a very special guest with me for our third episode. This is going to air on Valentine's Day, Melissa. So, I brought this cute little arrangement. I got it at AEDD yesterday at the women's, or I guess it's not women's, so we'll talk about that, but at the auxiliary luncheon. And they did a cute little thing of like, hey, check out the cupcake and whoever has the sticker. And I was like, yes, I get the arrangement. I'm going to bring it for the podcast recording. So, Melissa, you and I met at the AICA, or American Indian Center of Arkansas, open house. And I want you to introduce yourself because I found a whole bunch of things that I'm going to ask you about, but just like a broad overview of who you are and what you do over at National Park College.
Hey, well, my name is Melissa Kennon. I am an Oklahoma native. I've lived in Hot Springs for almost a decade. I work at National Park College. I am the content developer. I'm a digital accessibility analyst, so I make digital spaces accessible for people with disabilities or anybody that uses assistive technology, like screen readers or braille printers, things like that. I also do a lot of photography for them, graphic design. My coworkers kind of joke when they bring people over to introduce to our team that Melissa just does everything. If you need anything done, just ask Melissa. So I wear a lot of hats, but that's kind of the nature of higher ed. I also adjunct. I'm an adjunct teacher for advertising design. This is my first semester to do that, so that's been a fun adventure. And then I manage our work study and our interns.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is something new that I took on this year as well. So a lot of new things for me this year as far as workplace.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. And so, National Park College. So you not only are doing some of those different programs there, but I read you also went to school there.
I did. I actually graduated from there twice. The first time I was a computer programming and web design major.
Okay.
So it took me three semesters to graduate, with my first degree from there. And about my second semester, I was like, I'm not sure computer programming is for me. I didn't grow up with that. Like when I was in high school, we still had typewriters. So it was all very, very foreign to me. And my brain just didn't really wrap around it. But once I graduated, I realized I really liked the design aspect of computers.
Yeah.
So I stayed at National Park and I got a degree in digital media and arts.
Okay.
And then I transferred to Savannah College of Art and Design and I got my bachelor's, my BFA in graphic design with a minor in marketing. But I've worked at the college since 2017, so I've been there. Like right after I graduated with my first degree, they hired me.
Yeah.
And I technically work for the Office of Advancement, and I work in the Department of External Affairs, Public Relations, Marketing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool, and so you and I are definitely going to talk more about that, like off camera and stuff, because obviously that's what we do with American Business Engine, right? We do all kinds of marketing, and so like the graphic design thing. I think I was reading, there was a post that they had about you on the National Park website, and it was kind of like a highlight editorial thing, and it was talking about how you just, you have different things that you enjoy, and like you said, maybe not necessarily like the computer programming side, but the graphic stuff. But she said like she's like, I couldn't even do like draw a stick person very good. And I was like, that's me. That is totally me. So like that event tonight, that's ever at a different stroke of art. I'm so excited because I've never done a paint, what do they call them? Oh gosh, painting with a twist. Yes, that. So it's basically the same thing. I don't think we're gonna have any alcohol though because it's Exodus run, and so it is recovery stuff. But it's already drawn, so that makes me feel so much more comfortable. And like I have started learning the graphic design stuff, so that's a huge appreciation for the things that you can do. I mean, like the talent that's like, it's incredible. And I know I read that you said that you were a perfectionist as well, so just having everything just right, like I know having that eye is really really handy. Like you were over here helping set up with making sure that like everything. He was like, yep, this is good. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah, and Savannah College of Arts and Design. So tell me a little bit more about like your experience there, because I had a friend from high school. She actually went to school down there, and then I don't even know like what else she's doing now, but tell me about that.
So I really, I never went there. I did everything online.
Okay.
I stayed here in Hot Springs, but I had honestly never heard of them because I didn't grow up in the art world. I was an athlete, and so I got hurt when I was 17. I couldn't play anymore, and didn't go back to college till I was 35. So I actually learned of Savannah through a Phi Theta Kappa function. Phi Theta Kappa is like the 2-year honor society for junior colleges. And I was the president, so I got to go on this trip, and there was all these colleges there, and I just stopped by because their table display was fun, you know?
Yeah.
And get information on a whim. I'm like, well, let me apply. I'm not going to get in. Like that was my thought. I'm not going to get in. Because the more I learned about them, the more I understood that they were a really good art school. And I'm not a really great artist. That story of I can't draw a stick figure was literally my first day of art class. And my professor, Alana, she said, Melissa, you're going to do better than what you think.
Yeah. And
I ended up winning, I think 2 years after I took her class, I ended up winning first place in an art contest.
That's so cool.
I mean, so I went from,
Congratulations.
thank you. I went from not being able to draw a stick figure to winning an art contest. So, but I really had no idea that or even any hope that I'd be accepted in Savannah. And so when I got my acceptance letter, I was running down the halls of work, like, I got in, I was so excited. And it was challenging. Studio classes are hard. I would take a math and science class any day over a studio class. And then I work in, where I have to be artsy all day. Mm-hmm. And then I would get off work and I would go home, open my computer, and I had a roommate that would make, my meals for me, get my tea for me. He would take care of the dog, and he's part of the reason I was super successful, because I didn't have to worry about those things, right? But I would come home from work and I would stay up till midnight doing homework, because it's very intensive. It's a very, very intensive school. My first week of education there, I had 52 assignments due. My first week. 3 classes, because they're 5-hour courses.
Wow.
52 assignments. So, math and science, you do that lab sheet, or you do that worksheet, or you do those 40 math problems and you're done.
Yeah.
That's not the way it works with studio or art at all, because there's always a way to make it better,
Yeah.
So it was a lot, and I did learn a lot. I had a lot of really good professors, and I made some, even though we were all just online together, I did make a couple of friends that I still stay in contact with. They live all over the country, but
that's great.
Yeah, so it was a really, really good experience, and it's something that I was super proud of to be. As far as National Park College could tell, I was the first student that had ever went to a school of that caliber.
Wow.
And so what a testament to the art program at National Park College and the teachers that they have.
Yeah.
That they, put that much energy in me that I could be successful. Because I couldn't have done it without, Jennifer Stewart and Lana. I just, and so many other people, but they were my primary art teachers.
Yeah.
So it's a real testament to the program at National Park College.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you said that, because, oftentimes we think, here in Arkansas, I feel like people think of, the big, U of A at Fayetteville, right? Or, okay, there's ASU in Jonesboro. Or, here in Little Rock, if you're going to stay close to home, there's UALR, or UA Little Rock, as they call it. Or UCA, things like that. And I think oftentimes, the technical schools, they often get overlooked. So, National Park College, I wasn't even aware of it until probably 5 or 6 years ago. And I was working at THB 11, somebody reached out, and we just had a conversation about marketing, and that was, probably, maybe it was a little bit longer. It was probably before you were working there. But, it's just, that's really what I'm excited to show to people through this podcast, It's letting them know about different businesses, organizations, nonprofits, whatever in the state, but also highlighting the people that are part of those and sharing that so other people can find out about these great resources. And so thank you for talking about that, because I know I read too that you said, if it weren't for the great teachers that you had, to support you and encourage you and just be there when you needed somebody to talk to, like that's something that maybe not everyone really feels that connection, like with their professors in college, especially. I mean, you said that you didn't know what you wanted to do when you very first went.
No clue.
Yeah, yeah, and that was the same for me, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that start college, and they're like, I know I need to do this, I need to get my degree, whatever, and I'm really passionate about this, but not having that person to support them, especially, most people, they don't go to like a local community college, they go away. And so just having teachers and professors that are those encouragers, I think that's a great thing to have that support system. So
Absolutely. And I mean, I went to college directly after high school.
yeah,
And so I grew up in Bixby, Oklahoma,
okay,
which is just south of Tulsa.
yeah,
And I went to University of Central Oklahoma. I had a full ride scholarship, so of course that's where I'm going.
yeah,
And it's just outside of Oklahoma City, so we're only an hour and 45, hour 30 from my hometown. But that was enough distance that, and then I didn't have that support of my professors. It wasn't a community, it wasn't a home. And so I didn't succeed at all. I failed out. So I was a 4.0 student that failed out of college, because there was just no support system. You were a cog in the wheel. And UCO is a great school. Like, I'm not trying to badmouth them. That was my experience. That's how I felt. I know my best friend went with me, and she was super successful and never felt that way. So,
yeah,
and I think that's just a testament to different people need different things. So, one of the benefits at National Park College is, my professors, I had their personal cell phone numbers oftentimes. And
Yeah.
so they understood that I did my homework at 8, 9 o'clock at night, and I was allowed to text them at that. So they were always there for me, always willing to uplift me and rally around me. And I walked into college with very little self-worth or self-esteem, or
Yeah.
that idea that I could actually achieve anything in my life at 35. And now at 44, I'm like, I can achieve everything. And that's really a testament to my professors and my, the women that I've surrounded myself at work with. And there are some guys in there too, but I made it really purposeful to surround myself with a group of women that were uplifting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that's something, oftentimes as we get older, and we graduate from high school or graduate from college, and we're not, so closely connected with even just a few close friends, that we've grown up and shared experiences with. Like, that's one of the things that I'm really glad that I was able, like the networking piece, I was able to connect with you at the open house that day. And then you got to come to the vision board event that we had. And like, then, it's obviously, I know, well, I said, I know you don't know me. Can I have a hug, and will you speak on my podcast, and will you come read your poem? So I don't know if you brought your poem. I didn't ask you. You did?
I did.
Okay, so if you want to read your poem, because you've given a few little allusions to like what's in it, if you want to read it right now, that would be awesome.
So we can do that.
Oh my gosh, it made me cry. It's so amazing.
So, for anybody watching, I will give trigger warnings. Part of it is very sad. And so trigger warnings for like aggression against me and my persons, and then I can conceive but not carry children. So I just always like to start with that because I know that's heavy for a lot of people. So it is called I Am My Greatest Discovery. I am my greatest discovery. I am from cornfields and sod farms. I am from 4 homes of chaos. I am from the womb of a woman who made me a mom. I am from nowhere and everywhere. I am the thorn in their side and the sparkle in their eyes. I am from levee and trot lines. I am from motorcycle rides and wild garlic. I am from drinking water from the rocks. I am from rodeos and Indian tacos. I am from destitution and poverty. I am from Section 8 and food stamps. I am a drug addict and an alcoholic. I am from a 4.0 GPA, a 33 ACT score, and a 4-time college dropout. I am the holder of 4 college degrees. I am magna cum laude. I am from the red clay that stained the feet of my ancestors. They traveled the trail of tears. I am from their ashes. I am from the ashes of their hopes, dreams, and memories. I am from totem poles. I am from broken arrow and broken spirits. I am from broken spaces, so I create unbroken spaces for the broken. I am from the imprisonment of my mind and spirit. I am from the prison of expectations. I am the mother of 4 dead children. I am a rape, molestation, kidnapping, domestic violence, gun and knife violence survivor. I am from the voices that scream and whisper in the dark. Oftentimes they are my own. I am the facer of fears, determined to forge a path in my own clay that I can be proud of. I am from all of those before me. I am because of and in spite of them. My only hope is that the future from me gains speckles of light in the darkness, because I am my greatest discovery.
I love it.
I
I know it's like really, like, I can't even imagine all the emotions that you go through when you read that. And I know the first time that I saw you read it, it's like every time, this is the 3rd one, and I'm just like, you just seem to get stronger and stronger in it. And like, just for you to have given the story that you did, you know, prior to reading that, I mean, you are one of the reasons that I'm doing this podcast. People and women and men like you that have gone through so many different trials and tribulations, but to pick up and keep going and to persevere, like, that is spotting light. I mean, that is like, I know that from different experiences, like, people telling their stories, you know, yeah, you're in a really low place, probably more times than you'd like to even count. But the fact that it's like, I'm not going to let this get the best of me, I'm going to keep going in spite of, and like, that, thank you.
You're welcome. I will say that is a lot of work. I just had a conversation with my boss Melanie yesterday about, you know, when I moved here to Arkansas, I literally moved with trash bags and my dog. I didn't have a car, a home, a job. I had nothing, like, when I moved here. A friend's mom came and picked me up and let me stay with her for a little bit, right? And so my motivation at that point, because I was super low, my motivation was my dog. As weird as that sounds, but I would look at Jax and say, you know, Mom's going to get her life better for you. We're making this move. I didn't want to move here. We're making this move to leave all this behind so you can have a better life. And then when I started college, it was, Mommy's doing this for you, Jax, you know? And for a long time it was, well, I'm doing this because my sisters deserve better. So for a long time I hung on to, or I placed importance on what I was doing to other people or other objects, because that's, at that point, that's all I felt like I had.
Hey everyone, happy Valentine's Day. I wanted to give you an invitation on behalf of American Business Engine and Exodus.life, one of our clients. We would like to have you attend our long-term podcast launch party Thursday, February 22nd. It starts at 4:30 at 3700A West 65th Street in Little Rock. You can come get a taste of what the long-term podcast is going to look like for the remainder of the year, as well as explore the space and check out the podcast studio. So I hope that y'all have an amazing day. If you're catching the replay on this, hopefully you can catch the event next Thursday. Again, that is February 22nd at 4:30. Check the events page on AmericanBusinessEngine.com for more details, and have an amazing day.
Yes, I completely understand being tired of doing things for other people, right? You want to do it for yourself. So just that, tell me how that has pushed you into where you are right now in this point in your life.
I think for me, that was a lot of healing, right? Just this revelation of healing. And I think, you know, there's that whole idea that hurt people,
Mm-hmm.
but I think healing people heal people. as well. I think it goes both ways. So in my journey of healing, I think I have a lot to give the people around me. So that's really kind of pushed me into this, doing things like this, public speaking or podcast, or working with the American Indian Center, and, you know, things like that. So I think it is my, I don't want to say duty or responsibility, it's really a joy to me to inspire others from my story and my experiences. One of my favorite memories, when I came and did my poem for you, there was a young lady in the audience, and she was like, wow, your story, like, really, it moved her. I don't remember her exact words, but basically she's dealing with something, and she understood that there shouldn't be shame in what she's dealing with, because here I am standing in my truth with no shame, you know? And that little bit of empowerment that she got from my empowerment, that's where I'm at. That's why I do what I do. And again, like, heal people. And so if I can help do that in any sort of way, then that's just joyous to me.
Yeah.
Did I answer your question?
You did.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you did. And so let me see what else there was. Oh, okay. So briefly, let's talk about AICA, because again, that's where we met, and I did not know about AICA until we had a ribbon cutting with the North Little Rock Chamber. Went up to the floor there in the Regents building and knew a few people there that were employees. But American Indian Center of Arkansas, how did you get connected, and what is that to Melissa?
So that's kind of a funny story. I was actually a dermatologist. So I'm a native. I'm a card-carrying native. I have my CDIB card. And in Oklahoma, there is, you know, Indian Health Services. You have a lot of tribal communities that you can go to. There's reservations. There's a huge tribal, you know, community in Oklahoma. So I moved here, which also has a huge tribal background, right? Native background. But there's really no native services here that I could tell. So I met my dermatologist, and this guy has on, I think it was like a Cherokee ball cap, you know, the Cherokee tribe ball cap. And I just commented on it, and he asked me if I was native. Yes. He said, well, do you know about the Indian Center in Little Rock? No, like, I'm not from here. I'd been here a couple of years at that point. So I looked them up. I just cold called and was connected with this guy named Steven Morales. And so he was on the board of directors at some point with AICA, and he got me in contact with my caseworker at the time. Her name was Wanda McGuire, and basically what they did for me is they helped put me through college. And I wrote it down because I always get it wrong, through the WIOA grant. So it's a federal grant for, you know, getting people into the workforce. But it was so much more than that. They drove to Hot Springs where I live. Like, they came to the college, so I wouldn't have to miss class or miss work or anything. So I could do the paperwork and do the interviews and do everything that I need to do to get established with them. And then while I was in college, while I was still at National Park, my house was robbed. And when I tell you they took everything, like down to my toilet paper, laundry soap, groceries, everything. They took my clothes, my shoes. So I went to Tulsa for 3 days. I left on Friday, came back Sunday to visit my grandpa in the hospital. And an hour after I left, they robbed my house. And then took my other car. I had 2 vehicles at the time. They took my other car. And I walk in, I have nothing, no school supplies. I'm an art student. Art supplies are super expensive. Like, all of my Wacom, which is like a digital art pad, everything's gone. So the American Indian Center found money, because I didn't have any money left in my WIOA grant, but they found money to get my books back and get my school supplies and get me a printer and everything that I needed. And I had groceries. I mean, like, I had toilet paper. They did so much more than just help me go to school.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that was a catastrophe that I could have lived in, and I could have failed in school because of it. But they they refuse to let that happen. You know, so it's so much more than them just paying for my education. When I went to SCAD in Savannah, Georgia, they even sent money there and helped me offset the college or the cost for that. But then they show up like Stephen Morales. He's been at the college 3 times in November for Native American Heritage Month. We have done the first time he showed up, it was just him, not just him, but it was him and Roger Fallon, and they talked about like just artifacts and what those artifacts mean to the tribe, and just the history of Native culture. And then the second time I had Stephen Morales out, we did a powwow demonstration. So we had, Stephen, his wife, his child, and his mother-in-law, and then another couple come out and do all these different dances. It was so amazing.
Wow.
And then so I said he's been out several times, and then Star Jackson, which is the executive director of AICA, came out in October and talked about overcoming like generational trauma and poverty. And her testimony, if you ever have a chance to experience that, is amazing.
Yeah.
And we worked with the AICA came out again this last November to do Native American Heritage Month, and they are coming out on the 21st of this month to do a talking circle, which I didn't grow up in the Native culture, so I didn't understand that when I said talking circle, that's actually a very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's an honorary thing for them. What's the word? It is anyways, it's not at all what I thought it was going to be. I was envisioning students being able to just come and be like, oh, my teacher Melissa is awful, just it's right before midterms, and I just wanted them to have a chance to like get all that stress and stuff out. But there is a ceremony, that's the word, it's an official ceremony for the Native culture, a talking circle is.
Okay.
So we are going to have somebody lead that, and we will respect the 4 directions, and we will do a land acknowledgement, and so that's going to be real fun.
Yeah.
And then we're going to try to work with them as far as doing some studies on the students of, Native American students and the culture in campuses across the state.
Yeah.
So anyways, lots of exciting
Wow.
things with them. They're
Yeah.
always like just on board to show up every time. So, it's been an exciting ride with them, and I've they've given me the opportunity to come out and speak twice at their ribbon cuttings and open houses. And so they're just an amazing service that Arkansas has that I think a lot of people don't know about, yet they've been here since like the 50s, I think it was.
A long time.
A very long time. So if you or anybody you know has a CDIB card or is interested in getting one, then I would suggest contacting them. I mean, they're just a great resource for not only adult people going back into school, but they've got 988 resources. They've got drug and alcohol resources, mental health resources. They have a program just for seniors
Okay.
to, maybe those seniors want to like learn something, and so they've got an education program for them as well. So a lot of resources there, plus young kids to help with clothing and book bags and things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, everyone that was there that day at the ribbon cutting and then again at the open house, like, so sweet, so welcoming, like, come back, like you said, looking at the different artifacts and stuff up there at the office, like, from the clothing to just, like, the different pieces that they use in the ceremonies. And Stephen Morales, was he the one that got up and did, like, the opening prayer and sang?
He is.
He did the,
Yes.
What do you call that? It's not a chant. What is
Yeah, I honestly, I
Okay,
don't know. I'm sorry.
I thought that was him, and I was like, that was incredible. I mean,
Yes.
I have a video. I'm gonna have to share that because I totally forgot about that. But
Yeah, well, and
yeah,
National Park College, you can go in there and kind of look at stories about them as well. And,
Really?
Just
Okay.
like search Stephen Morales or Native American Heritage Month, and there's some really cool pictures in there from his time at the campus.
Awesome.
But yeah, and just to plug him a little bit, he's also a fantastic jewelry maker.
Really?
And so you can go on his Facebook, and he's got beautiful custom handmade jewelry. And it's fabulous. It's beautiful.
That's
I don't know if you
awesome.
got to see it that day. He was kind of in the corner.
I didn't. Okay, I'm gonna have to go check it out.
Yeah.
Is STEPHEN?
No, EVEN.
Okay, STEVEN.
And
Morales.
MORALES.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. That's gonna be something I do after this. Social media gets sucked in a rabbit hole in
Yes.
between posting for a client. It's not typical or anything. It doesn't happen. Okay, so let me see here. I'm looking at the rest of my notes, and I mentioned that. You mentioned the talking circle. That's really cool. Like, are y'all doing like an online version for that or anything, or is it just in person on the 21st?
It's just in person on the 21st,
Okay.
and it's only going to be open to current students.
Just students. Okay.
Yeah, because we really want to give them that freedom to
Yeah.
be able to be completely open. So we will have both of our mental health professionals that work for National Park College. Their services are always open and free to students, faculty, and staff.
Yeah.
And then we will have a mental health professional from AICA on campus, plus Chris Ramsey, and forgive me, Chris, I can't exactly remember what, but he will be there in a sort of like mental health capacity.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I don't believe he's licensed. I could be wrong, Chris.
Cramsey.
Yes, and they're all so wonderful. So
Yeah.
we will have that available for all of our students. But yes, we really just want to give them the freedom to. And we will have pizza and popcorn and water.
You feed them, you love on them, and you let them
Yes.
vent. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So excited about that.
Absolutely. Well, and I appreciate you coming and being on Spotlight with Britt.
Of course.
And I want to close with, I saw a quote in that article that you said. So, never let where you are define where you will go.
Exactly.
That is that's your story. I mean, honestly, and I look forward to hopefully you coming back. And I know you mentioned interest in AEDD, and so like I was telling you, I'm just gonna pull my papers out here real quick. There's nothing formal about this. I went to my first meeting yesterday, and I haven't joined yet, but I feel like it's something I'm probably gonna do. So they meet the second Thursday of every month. So we're on 65th Street right now. They're literally like 6 minutes from here over on Roosevelt. And they have like all these different events, and their two big events is, oh, wait a minute. So they have the Razorback Tailgate Party. I think that's the one. Hogs for a Cause is what they call it. That's their big annual fundraiser. But basically, it's just men and women getting together, being in a group, and supporting the Arkansas Enterprise for, oh God, let me make sure that's right. Arkansas Enterprises for the Developmentally Disabled. And so I believe they have like housing for their clients. They have different organizations within the nonprofit. So I met a lady yesterday, Veronica, I can't remember her last name, but she works with them and helps out with one of their programs. They make candles. Like the clients come in, they make candles and do different things, and so that money I think goes and funds their different services. But if that's something that you would be interested in, I would love to have you join me because I do plan on going back to visit in March. And the dues, they're like $30 for the year. So it's not like it's anything. I mean, they had a great lunch yesterday. RX Catering. So you get together, meet some really awesome people. I mean, I met a lady that she just joined, and we were staying and taking, like, they take a Valentine's Day picture after this luncheon. And she and I were right side by side. And I mean, literally just, hey, how you doing? And I don't know how it came up, but I told her where I went to high school. And she's like, I'm thinking about sending my daughter there. What do you think? So, I mean, just a really great group of women and a few men. I'm sure there was a few more members that weren't there yesterday, but that's something you want to come check out with me. One of my friends from the chamber, she helped me get my mortgage on my first house. She's the president there, Terry Young, and so yeah, we'll talk more about that. Anybody else wants to do that, that's an invite there too. And again, thank you. I'm glad that we got to connect several months back, and I'm glad that we finally got to do this. And I can't wait to have you on the 3rd episode on Valentine's Day.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And we'll see y'all next time, whatever time of day it is. I hope it's blessed for you, and catch you soon. Thanks.